Let's begin from Boko, where reports from that part of the country says 3 more persons have been killed in renewed clashes. The conflict, which has already claimed 2 lives and injured many, resulted in a curfew which is strictly being enforced by the military. This brings to 5 those killed in the renewed fighting. The municipal chief executive of Boko, Amadou Hamza, has shockingly revealed the situation in the area is deteriorating by the minute, and every life in the area is in danger, including himself. We'll be taking you to Albert Sore, who is our man on the ground and has been monitoring all that is happening for us. He has a lot of information on this particular development, and he is joining us to bring us more of that. We'll also be speaking to a security analyst, Dr. Victor Doke, here on the show as well. So Dr. Victor Doke is on Zoom with us here. He's done some extensive work on the Boko conflict. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. First off, what's your overview of what's happening in Boko now?
My brother, Happy New Year to you. My personal view is that we have a very dire situation in our hands, because with these pockets of incidents whereby you have target killings and all of that, disturbances, cacophonous shootings and all that, with regards to what has been done in the past when militaries have been sent in, they've organized exercises, operations to retrieve arms, and still we're having these issues, then what I would say is this situation is out of hands, for the state institutions are responsible to or mandated to look at the resolution or professing solutions to it. Now, what we are looking at is the citizens in Boko, the youths particularly, and especially from the 2 factions, have been emboldened by all what has been happening with regards to their issues not being addressed. Okay? You talk about unemployment, you talk about injustice. So when you have people from either side who have been arrested and then suspected to have perpetrated some crime, and later here they are released, what then comes into mind? Okay, so for example, you have Mapusi youths arrested and then found out they have been involved in some criminal activities and later released. Then it tells the Kusasi youths that, okay, well, there's injustice, so we can fight for our own. With the issue of a proliferation of arms in Boko, what has the effort been? I saw in a news outlet 5 months ago, there was an operation that was conducted by the military in view or with regards to retrieving arms. At the end of the report, I heard there were no arms retrieved at the end of the operation. So you ask yourself, so what really? Now, these youths have the weapons in the system that you cannot shy away from. Why then would you have these shootings, coming up day in and day out? These pockets will go on until we address the core issues. Okay, we are looking at injustice. We are looking at dissatisfaction of either sides. We are looking at people breaking the law with regards to a substantive chief there, and then going ahead to install another chief. All these, okay, are incidents that are fueling the Boko conflict.
Okay.
One particular thing that I would also aspect of stakeholders, those who are behind the scenes, political actors, who are contributing with, be it by their words, be it promises being made to their kinsmen of whatever they want to give to them if or whenever they win power or whatever. So until we get to the bottom of this situation will be protracted in as much as possible. We'll have more people being targeted. We'll have more atrocities, the violence we cannot control, and the security services will not even have any solution to it.
Okay. Now, it looks like there's a lot we have to talk about, but do stay with me. Let me bring in a man on the ground, Albert Sore, who has been covering this from the length and breadth of Boko to really, put this in context for us. Albert, you've been all around Boko to really understand what this really means. What have you been gathering on this matter since morning?
Yes, so one of the major things that happened today was a group of women who decided to march to the military base, which is very close to the Boko town, to sort of peacefully protest the killings that took place yesterday. We're told that these are relatives of the 3 men who were killed allegedly by the military yesterday night. So they masked up, and they were making some noise, and they were chanting, saying that they didn't want the military to continue to be in the town. In fact, initially when we started hearing this story, it looked more serious than it later turned out to be. Okay. But what happened was that when they got to the premises of the military base, they were making noise. They surrounded one of the military vehicles, and I think 1 or 2 soldiers were standing by. There's a video which has been sent. It's not very clear, but this was what was happening. And so they had to fire some warning shots, and the women eventually dispersed. We're told that one of them, in the panic and the chaos, was taken to the hospital. She didn't sustain any injury, but this was something that took place in Boko town today. Okay. Now, this is just to tell you that the people in the town are not happy about what happened yesterday, particularly with the issue involving the military and the killing of these young men in Sabongari. There are even fears that if care is not taken when it's curfew hours in the cover of the night, there could be shootings, as has always been the case. Remember, just on Wednesday when we lost those people who were shot at the tricycle station. The night of that day, there were a lot of shootings in the Boko town. The fears are that could happen again today. And so the residents are hoping that this time the security will be up and doing. But I must tell you, Brace, that many people in Boko, the civilians particularly, seem to have lost faith in the ability of the security apparatus and even the government to permanently clamp down on these shootings and these killings. And everybody who moves about their normal everyday activity, are doing so with a lot of tension, because Boko has become a place where every corner of the town looks dangerous to people, because at any time people can fire guns and people can get killed and injured, and it seems that nobody ever gets punished for it.
Quite interesting. Now, you say that civilians have lost trust in the military or the security to protect them. Why did this trust get broken? What happened? What really led to where we are today?
So we can go back to the beginning of last year, around the same time, from the last Christmas, the Christmas before the one we just celebrated. We witnessed shootings like this, killings like this. In one of those shootings, we had an immigration officer who was killed, if you recall. There were other shootings in which the military again were accused of going into the town and killing civilians. There were reports, at least on 2 occasions, where people who were allegedly wearing military uniforms went into the homes of people and shot them. Now, I personally was on duty with the Regional Security Council on shortly after the military killings last year, when the REGSEC was visiting Boko. And while we were there were shootings, even when the REGSEC was present in Boko with the security patrols, soldiers all over the place, and people still had the courage to fire guns in the air, and people had to run helter-skelter and all of that. Now, the questions many people, many civilians are asking is whether indeed these people who are in the town are so powerful that the whole Ghana Armed Forces is incapable of clamping down on them and stopping them from what they are doing. And so these are the reasons that people feel. In fact, one of the opinion leaders, when we spoke to them last year, said that what the government was doing is using, to quote him, a firefighting approach to this security matter, because they only become up and doing when people are shot and killed. Then you see that they increase the number of security in the town. They, we talk about it like we are doing now for a number of days. And once things get calm, it's like everybody goes back to relax until people are killed all over again. And so these are some of the reasons why the ordinary person in Boko doesn't seem to trust the security apparatus anymore.
But since, we'll listen to the MC shortly, but you've been nosing to really get us the back end story that many people might not be aware of. What is really the contributory factor to this conflict that doesn't seem to go away anytime soon?
Well, one of the reasons you get from people is that most of the killings in recent times seem now to be retaliatory in nature. Somebody gets killed, the members of his group feel that they must kill, or shoot at members of the other group in order to retaliate. And so for the last 2 years or so, it has been like this. Of course, the root cause has been the chieftaincy conflict, which we are told started way back in the 50s. But in recent times, if you follow the trend, normally when someone from one side gets shot at, it doesn't take long before you hear that shootings have occurred against the other side. So it seems to be, reprisal or retaliatory in nature.
Very, very interesting. Now, earlier we were told, just hold on for me, because the Municipal Chief Executive of Boko, Amadou Hamza, himself has been speaking to Joy News, and he has shockingly revealed that the situation in the area is deteriorating by the minute, and every life in the area is in danger, including himself. Listen.
For the people of Boko, and I must do so because a week will not pass when there will not be an incident in Boko. As a municipal chief executive, as a representative of the President of the Republic of Ghana, it's a sad moment. Let me tell you about the recent happenings, some of the things that led to these casualties or whatever. Last week, I was in Boga when I had a call. I think I was in a workshop trying to bring more projects to Boko. And the call that came was that somebody had been gunned down in a place where we're doing the one district, one factory. The name of the area is Kolori. And in fact, when it happened, there were some few gunshots. The military and the police managed to calm down the situation. The day before yesterday, I came in Bolga when I was about wrapping up on Wednesday of the Soko projects. I had a call from residents that the place is bad. And I actually consulted. I contacted the military commander. I contacted also the police, the divisional commander, and all of them were very busy on the phone. Yes, indeed, some 6 people were shot. 1 died at the spot. And later yesterday in the morning, the 17-year-old died. Now, this matter led to spirit gunshots. Was told that one other known Kusasi man, who is a lecturer and lead a registrar at the Bolga Technical University, indeed is my good friend. Zuma Alasan is my very good friend from childhood. His house was just very close to my house. Yes. And it was later that they had to move to Misiga Sabungari area to stay.
So
yes, indeed. Let me come. I want to give you the trajectory. What happened? Then that
unfortunately we do not have the luxury of time at this point. So we're hoping
that actually sparked of violence 2 nights ago. And so yesterday in the night, I heard some gunshots just about 200 to 300 meters away from my house. There's a school known as Hassania Basic School. And the gunshots, when I heard it, it was later I started contacting the police commander and then the military commander. Nobody was answering until a few minutes later that the Major Ankama, who is the commander of the armed forces at Ilembe, told me what happened. I tried to inquire, okay, they were actually moving around trying to ensure that there's peace in town. And they accosted some 4 men who were exchanging gunfires at them.
Okay.
And he authorized his men to fire at them. Indeed, they fired at the guys. 1 managed to escape, and the other 3 were gunned down. And then their bodies were picked by the police to a hospital, a private hospital known as Vineyard. That is the report I got. That's exactly the report. And the incident happened just 200 to 300 meters away from my house.
Okay.
Indeed, I must tell you that there is no safe zone in Boko. Even me as an MCE, where I reside, is a very dangerous area. My life also is in danger. It's not only the citizens of Boko. Wherever you are staying, your life is in danger. And so, because of this development, I see it as the most dangerous conflict ever in the world. And there's a need for us to ensure that we put mechanisms that we can ensure that we bring lasting solutions to the people of Boko.
Well, we know over the period a number of measures have been put in place. Security has been beefed up amongst others. But listening to you now, it appears it's all not worked over the period.
Not that it didn't work. I must tell you that this government has been very proactive as far as Boko conflict is concerned. The government has been proactive in the sense that the government had done a lot of engagement. The Boko Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee, led by myself and the regional minister, had engaged the factions in Boko. 6 of them, of the membership, are push actives. 6 of the membership are non-pushes. 2 are Moshis. 2 are Houses. 2 are Dagombe.
Well, Mr. Hamza, unfortunately, at least if these measures have yielded any results, you'll be talking about the fact that Boko is the only conflict area, at least in the world now, like you talk about. But really, with the latest incident, at the last count, how many lives have been lost, you say?
The latest incident in the life within Boko, I can tell you that 3 lives have been lost.
Okay.
Official reports are that 3 lives have been lost.
Okay, and how many persons are currently receiving attention in terms of...
5 persons are injured. 5 persons are injured, and they are in various hospitals in Boko.
So that is the MC. Then I still have with me our man on the ground, Albert. Sorry, and then Dr. Doki as well. Albert, so you had the MC there. For those of us who are not in Boko now, would be interested to understand what the situation is in Boko at the moment as we speak. How's the place looking like?
One of the things you will find very curious about Boko is that normally after incidents like this have occurred, people just come out and they continue their way of life. It's as if they become used to these shootings now. So normally when it happens, especially when the shooting is happening, people run and take cover. But by the next day, people come out and they go about their normal activity. So that is what is happening at the moment. But when you are present in the town, you can actually feel the apprehension, the fear that at any time at all, anything could happen. So at the moment, of course, calm has returned. We haven't had any unfortunate incident today, but you can tell that people are always on
alert,
uneasy about what is happening, because at any time gunshots can be fired and you have to protect yourself.
Now the head of MUSEC looks like the situation is overwhelming. Do we know what REGSEC is doing to complement the effort of the MUSEC to ensure that Boko is quite safe for people to live in?
Well, normally, when things like this happen, they beef up the security, of course. And you learn from what happened yesterday that the military are on patrol. Sometimes, even when you are a civilian, you want to pass through Boko to a place like, say, Pusiga, for instance. The military and the police are willing to give you escorts, if you go and ask for it. So these measures are there. What people don't understand is why the killings are still going on with all these measures that have been put in place. When you get to Boko, in the middle of the town, there is an armored vehicle stationed, soldiers at various vantage points. You see men armed and all of that. At various vantage places, you find security people. But nonetheless, things like this continue to happen, and the people don't understand why this is the case.
Let me bring in Dr. Dokera. Dr. Dokera, so you heard from my colleague there saying that there is security presence in the town, but still people are being shot at, people are dying. Why is that happening?
Well, it's simple. You can have as much personnel on the ground as you want. Now, don't forget, these personnel may not necessarily be indigents of that town, so they don't know the in and outs of that town like they used to. Okay. Now, the other issue is that you have youth from these two factions who have communal weapons, personal weapons, are emboldened by elders in the town, and earlier what I mentioned as shadow stakeholders outside the town is of fueling the conflict, be it contributions or whatever they can. Okay? The reason for these issues is that there are factors that have not been looked at on either side. All of them have needs, wants, and interests. Okay? What has the institutions, when I say institutions, I mean National Peace Council, the state itself, through the central and local government, what have they done to look at the issues presented by these two factions? I remember early 2000s, they had a consortium of NGOs that went to Kumasi, engaged the two factions, and came out with recommendations. What has come out with our recommendation? Can we boldly say that the recommendations have been implemented? I remember there was one, be it setting up an office or secretariat for the Ethnic Peace Committee, okay, and resource it, because this is a body that is mandated to look at the conflict and address it. It constitutes members or representatives from every ethnic group in Boko. This committee has not been resourced. They need periodic capacity building with regards to conflict resolution, so that they can address issues like the farmlands, issues related to festival celebrations, burials, and whatnot. Okay? Now, you would remember that there was a time when they were talking about the burial of the Opostic. That would signify the end of the conflict. The Mampusis came out and said it is not their culture. Fair enough. What have we done to get back to the Mampusis and say, if it's not your culture, what then would you be comfortable with to perform as traditional rites so we can bring the conflict to an end? We don't have the sustained engagements going in. So you have this, what we call, as people have said, firefight approach coming in. Every time, you're not looking at the structural measures, structural preventive measures, the creation of jobs, okay? Ensuring that there's justice, where people who have been found to be perpetrating crime, either in Boko or outside, have been made to face the full rigors of the law. That hasn't happened. You understand? And we have one particular important dynamic that has changed the whole Boko situation now. The 15th of February 2023 incident that happened in Narelubu, the installment of the gentleman Seidu as the Boko Haram. Where is his whereabouts? So you would expect that the Kusasis are on the watch out, on the lookout. Who is going to lead this gentleman into Boko? So you would have the youth on that side on edge, wanting to stop this gentleman from entering into Boko. That also has added to the existing dynamics which compounds the situation in Boko. And then let's look at how our security forces go in there, supposed to be neutral as much as possible. But then the situation turns around. And then you have, or you hear of the military shooting the youth and all that. That only serves as a conduit for these youths to even hate, one, the military more, and to even engage in reprisal attacks. Because then if you are targeting me and I can't come out openly to fight, then what I can do is secretly do it. So that's why we're going to have these reprisal attacks continuing, unless the issues involved, which is so easy to identify, get the right people in there, okay? You talked about music, you talked about REGSEC. Have we built their capacity in terms of understanding the dynamics of boko? It is not just about coming from the town or the capital. It is about knowing what it is that you have to deal with when it comes to conflict resolution. If I am a mediator or negotiator and I go in there wanting to bring a lasting solution to the issue, I don't go there with a stance already that I've had. I need to listen to these guys, know what they want at this particular moment, and then not forgetting the proximate factors that are existing, right? Any other issue that would add on or compound my process should be dealt with. Until then, we won't get anywhere.
Well, so the committee should be resourced enough to work, and that's government's work, right? That government should ensure that is done.
Exactly. And we will have the National Peace Council, who is like a focal person for the committee. We have NGOs, okay, in Boko itself. For example, the Berlin Musa Development Agency builder, okay, who have a seat. They are the peace-building facilitators within the committee. Let's resource all these NGOs for them to actively engage the sides. Then now we can come to the negotiating table and then we'll move forward. We sustain engagement. We cannot neglect the sustained engagement. We start a process and we leave it. We leave it, and then when the shootings happen, then we come back. So you start at square one. You don't get anywhere.
I mean, this is a disturbing situation, and so when we are talking about it, we need to get to the bottom of it. Who is not doing his or her work right that has resulted in Boko being in such a volatile situation all this while that we don't even know when it is ending?
When you talk about the role of the state, it's huge. The state has the capacity and mandate, one, to ensure the safety and peace of the people, properties, or whatever. So we would now have to look at what the state would have to do. The willpower of the state to push in resources, okay? And resources is in a wide area. And enforce or enhance the mandated bodies through which the state speaks, the National Peace Council, is very, very essential. And when we get there, who are those who have been appointed or will be the lead negotiators or mediators when it comes to the conflict resolution? Okay? Now, we should ensure that these people have adequate capacity, training, and resources to go in there, engage with the BIPC, the committee, and then the committee will now relate to their respective ethnic groups. So when you are looking at it holistically, the willpower of the state is very necessary. So we have to call on the state. The civil society also has to come on board, add their voice. Let's present some kind of mechanism framework for the state. So this hasn't been done. We should look at it, and then we should follow through if we really want to solve the Boko issue. And let's not forget, it's a political season. You don't want the situation to be existing and you have armed groups infiltrating and taking advantage of the situation. Then you cannot control it.
And there's a likelihood of, terrorist groups taking advantage to infiltrate the area, right?
It's a conduit for armed groups to come in. You understand? On the part of the conflict parties themselves, if they feel that they would need assistance with regards to some armed groups coming in, perpetrating acts of violence, they will. It is so easy. This is a ground, fertile ground. or any armed group to operate. But we don't want that, and we cannot control it when that happens. So the states, CSOs, well-meaning Ghanaians, come in, let's have a framework and mechanism resolving the conflict once and for all. Let's look at the issues that have been left ajar, let's bring them back on board, tackle them one after the other.
All right, now we need to end this conversation, but in the next 30 seconds, if you can do this for me, I'll be happy. People are dying. We have the national security that is supposed to prevent some of these things from happening. What should they be doing to ensure that they are able to prevent some of these deaths?
The only thing for now is sensitization. Sensitization, awareness creation on the effect and impact of the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in boko. Sensitize them to offer or bring out intelligence as to who they know is in possession of illegal arms, who are these kinsmen, stakeholders outside Accra, volunteer information, okay? Adhere to the rules and regulations if there's a curfew in place. The citizens, the youth have to respect the law. And the only way involve the chiefs, the elders as much as possible. This has not been looked at. So you have these government emissaries going in and doing their own thing and coming back. No. And then let's look at how we can also train or build capacity of the military to know how to handle some of these situations in conflict-prone areas like these, where the tensions are high. Then other than that, they will just be going about it, doing...
But of course, when it comes to internal security, it must be the police handling it.
Right, I forgot that. Now, the police is also essential. But you know, when issues like this happen, they only mention the military. Okay. Are the police? Let's build the capacity of these two important institutions.
Okay.
They need a training. We would think that most of these men know how to address issues when it comes to a chieftaincy conflict, but they may not. So you need regular training, awareness, and then they will get to know how to handle the situation better. So you will see an improvement with their relationship with the youth in the town, especially. There's a way to coax these youths, okay, to become your friends, that you can tap information from them.
Okay.
But if we go in with a brute force, it will not solve anything.
Grateful to you, Dr. Victor Doke. He is with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. He has done extensive research on this Boko situation. Albert, so, I mean, you are there. We hope that you are safe, but do you see any extra arrangement by the REGSEC or by security setup to ensure that no more deaths are recorded?
Well, apart from the security personnel on the ground, which is what we can physically see, the regional minister tells us that there's a lot happening behind the scene. He tells us that as human beings, they are also concerned about what is happening, and sometimes they don't even sleep because of what is happening. Okay. So, if we are to take his word for it, we believe that there is a lot going on behind the scenes, besides the fact that the security apparatus are on the ground. And so hopefully we do not experience any more shooting in the coming.
All right. Thank you so much. Keep safe. Albert, sorry, he is our man on the ground there. Now, this is the...